Welcome back to Terpy. We're here in the grow tent room again for a weekly update. That's kind of what the format of this space is going to be like going forward. We're going to cover all the grow tents in one video and then kind of answer the questions of the previous week's video. So if you have any comments or feedback or questions, leave them in the comment section below and I'll be sure to answer them in next week's video. So last week we covered the equipment setup for the space, and I saw a bunch of comments thinking that this space would separate from my commercial space. This is just the first step in what we have going on. The commercial space is part of this space, and in the future, once that space is completed or to the point where I can make videos on it, I will be covering that. For now, we're getting our seedlings started for pheno hunts so we can feed the larger rooms. So in last week's video, we covered the equipment setup and grow tents and everything we did to set up the space. As you can see, we do have our seedlings already started here in each of the tents. So we'll start covering the plants. Unfortunately, how YouTube works, they age restrict any video that has plants in it. So that's the reason why there was no plants in the previous video. So hopefully that brings in a whole new audience. So far, we'll start here in the left 4x4 tent. I know in the previous video, I said I was going to run this room as a perpetual setup, which would be, this would be veg, and then we have 2 flower tents that would be offset by 1 month. But because this is part of my commercial space, and these are pheno hunts to supply the keepers into the larger rooms, we are going to be doing all 3 tents on the same exact schedule, just so I can bang a bunch of pheno hunts out all at once. So we're gonna do 3 right now, and then the next round we'll do 3 more, and then the round after that we'll do 3, and then eventually we will get to the perpetual setup of this being a veg tent and then the 2 flower tents. Right now we have Stomp Berries, which is my own strain here, which is feminized seeds. I did lose my entire seed and clone collection when I did relocate to Thailand. Unfortunately, it did not make it here. I ended up losing even my own strains. So thankfully, 2 subscribers sent me 2 different packs of Stomp Berries and Mac Nana back. So that's what we're gonna be hunting first in this tent. These seedlings are on day 16 right now. I was impatient when I started this tent. I didn't have my nutrients or pH meter calibrated. So my cocoa/peat mix, which I am using for all the grow tents, it's half cocoa, half peat. I didn't pH the water or have any nutrients in it to start out, and I got a little impatient, started these seeds, and as you can see, the results are in that we had quite a few seeds that didn't even make it or died off quite easily. Unfortunately, these ones did bounce back, but they were stunted quite a bit. There's a stunted one back there, but we do have a few of them. As you can see, this one has some leaf burn there. So since I was impatient starting these seeds, I actually started the second pack that I have of Stomp Berries. So we will be adding those into the grow tent later on in this video. For now, as you can see, we have about 8 of them. Unfortunately, they will be offset, the new seedlings and these ones. So I'll make the best of it and fill out this tent as much as I can. I just want as many seedlings to start to make the best selection for a keeper pheno from our new Stomp Berries keeper, because previously we did an 18 seed hunt and we came out with 2 really good keepers, which I was going to cross together to evolve the Stomp Berries strain even more. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to make that happen. So we're gonna try again. Maybe we'll find a single keeper that's even better, who knows? So right now, these Stomp Berry seedlings are on day 16. It is about 2 weeks off of the new seedlings that I'm going to be adding into the tent right now. So we'll take a look at what that process looks like. Another point on why I'm trying to bang out as many pheno hunts as possible right now, it's not only to get keeper phenos of my own for the commercial rooms, but also because I'm planning on doing a large breeding round of the stomp berries, and I want to cross it with as many strains that I can of my own pheno hunts. I don't personally like just getting phenos from other people, clones, because I don't actually know what's in those genetics or where they came from or what those people chose in their hunts. Before we jump into the next tent and talk about what strain we have going on over there, I want to talk about this entire environment. I am running this space as one entire grow space right now, which means I'm leaving the grow tent doors open 24/7. This is working great for me as these plants are pretty small, so I don't really need these extractor fans with the carbon filters on them on each of the tents. That's kind of a waste of energy. So right now I have the tent doors open 24 hours, have them all on the same light schedule, and I have the AC running as normal, which is creating a good environment for us for the veg stage. The humidity is a little lower than I would like, but given the environment in Thailand, I'm working with what I can right now. And as the plants are smaller, the humidity gets brought down quite a bit from this AC. But we don't have the power on the lights turned up very high. So the AC kind of fluctuates on going on and off just from the outside temperatures. For the people that did see my moving video and knew about the big commercial space that I am building, those videos will be coming out eventually. It's just taking a lot of time and planning to get to the point where I can make videos on that space, as it is quite dark there and we don't have electricity in the rooms yet. So with limited lighting in there, it's just not great video quality. So over the next couple weeks, we will be getting the electricity done. The rooms have been built, so all the walls are all insulated and finished. We just need the electricity done, and then we can start to install all the growing equipment. I guess that answers quite a few of the comments from the last video. So we'll jump into the next tent right over here on our right 4x4 tent and talk about what strain that we are running. So we got another 4x4 tent with a 650 watt VivoSun light. This space is all sponsored by VivoSun, so be sure to check them out after this video. You can use the discount code on their website for any of the products that they offer. We have the 4x4 with the 650 watt light, inline fan 6-inch with the carbon filter, and the grow hub. We have a grow hub on each of the grow tents, same setup as these two. This is another 650 watt light, but this is the foldable version. And we got the 2x4 tent over here with the 100 watt AeroZesh LED lights there. Obviously every tent has a pulse. Pulse supports the channel also. We got one in each of the tents. You can use the discount code Terpy on the Pulse website for any of the products that they offer, other than the brands that they have listed that's not Pulse. You can still use the discount code on the Pulse branded products. We do have a Pulse here outside the tent, so we know what our lung room environmental conditions are. We have one in the dry room also. So when we do have all the grow tents closed, each of them have their own environment plus the Pulse in the lung room. So we have full data collection on this entire space. I just want to hop on the Pulse dashboard here. We have our Pulse Pros, 5 of them at the top, that are being utilized in our grow tents and lung room. As you can see, we have 2 Pulse Pros that aren't being used currently and a Pulse 1. Down here we have the Pulse Hub, which we will be incorporating into the space shortly. This is the Pulse Hub, which is our water content sensor connected to it, and 2 THV sensors, which determine our temperature, relative humidity, and vapor pressure deficit. Down here you also get the dew point. So we'll have a water content sensor. I'll be adding 2 more. So we have 1 water content sensor per grow tent, and we'll see how the data collects from also now the growing medium and those environments down there. So not only we'll have the air conditions above, but also what's going on in the growing medium. So we'll hop on this is the Stomp Berries grow tent, which is the left 4x4 grow tent. This is the entire time we've had up until day 16. At the beginning, you can see that how the light was very low power. On our VivoSun Grow Hub, unfortunately, the foldable light, when it's set to the lowest setting in the Grow Hub, the light doesn't actually come on. So you have to put it on setting 2 for it to be turned on during your lights on period. So that was a little thing that I learned over the first day and a half or so. I jumped into the grow space and was able to make that change.
because I got a push notification from the Pulse Pro showing low light intensity in this space. So that was a good save by the Pulse Pro. As you can see, the light intensity did increase over here. That's because where the Pulse Pro is located for this grow tent, it is kind of hanging outside the grow tent because I have the grow doors open currently. So the 2x4 grow tent is when I started right here, and the light from that grow tent being flooded out because the door is open was reaching the Pulse Pro over here. So our light intensity kind of did go up a little higher. As you can see, the temperature is pretty steady during lights on and lights off. A few degrees change throughout the AC being on and off, which is normal. The biggest difference is the relative humidity. It is quite a big gap, around 10 to 15% during the AC being on or off, depending on that time. So once the plants do get a little bit bigger, that gap will shrink, I'm hoping. So we'll make the changes necessary when that time comes. I don't want to buy equipment too early without knowing the full extent of what's going on in this grow space. So this chart will be available in the video description below. You can click on the link and interact with it just like you're seeing me doing. If you want to check it out for more detail, as I zoom out of this view, you can see all the minimum and maximums of everything down here if you want to know that information. I'll jump onto the Pulse website just so you can see what's available with the Pulse Hub, which we will be incorporating into the space pretty shortly. You have these pre-made kits, which is the Pulse Hub with the sensors, depending if you want a reservoir kit, a starter kit, or a water content sensor kit. Personally, I think these water content sensors are very valuable if you're looking to do some crop steering in your garden or learning more about that. There is a PAR sensor. We will be incorporating that later on down the road so we can really dial in the vapor pressure deficit, both leaf temperature and environment and all that. Anyways, we'll jump back into the video now.
So let's get back to this grow tent. We have the Platinum Pave from Compound Genetics. As you can see, we have 9 great seedlings here that will fill this tent perfectly. I personally like growing 9 plants in a 4x4. It gives me the best results and yields. We will see how this transforms over the next few months. You guys can see that I had to add some seedling supports. You've seen me use those in the past. There's just wire ties with some soft plastic on them, which work great for seedlings to hold them up. I did have a problem with having these clip fans. I was blowing them directly on the growing medium, both the top and the bottom one. I had them at different levels. That was because I had fed the growing medium with untested pH water along with no nutrients. So when I did get my pH meter calibrated and the nutrients arrived, I fed the plants and it was pretty much overwatered at that point. So my theory was to blow the air on it quite a bit, and it worked, which dried out the growing medium quite a bit faster, so I could water them again with more nutrients again, which brought them all back to life. As you can see, we do have some burning happening. That was from the previous watering that I did without the nutrients. Who knows what the pH was? I don't know. But they were stunted quite a bit from not having nutrients in the growing medium with such young plants. Thankfully, these ones weren't as affected as much as the stomp berries, because these ones are on day 16 and these ones are on, I think, day 13. So a few days less being exposed to that bad watering. But so far, doing great in here. Happy with the results. I saw quite a bit of comments in my previous video and got a bunch of DMs about growing in Thailand. The most basic knowledge I can give you guys about the laws growing in Thailand is there's really 2 options. Growing commercially, which I have done, which means you have to start a business. Your partner has to be Thai. Any business in Thailand has to be owned by a Thai citizen. So that is one option. The other option is growing at home, which means any foreigners are not allowed to grow at home. You have to be a Thai citizen, and if you want to grow at home, you have to register that you're growing at home. There may be other ways of growing. Those are just the 2 basic ones that I know about, and do your own research. I personally was reached out to because of my YouTube, which allowed me to do all this, which I'm very grateful for. And I'm happy to show you guys the next venture on the bigger space that's attached to this space. After overview of the laws and whatever is going on, let's jump over to the last grow tent we have going on over here. So here we are at the 2x4 tent with the 100 watt Arrows Edge lights. We got a 4-inch carbon filter up here and the 4-inch inline fan. We do have the grow hub up here. As you can see, it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit and 55% relative humidity. Our light is set to about, I would say, 60% power, making it about 300 ppfd at canopy level. I did have it at 190 ppfd, and as you can see, the seedlings got quite a bit taller than I would have liked to see, so I raised it up to 300 ppfd, which was the next setting up. So one thing with these grow hubs, you can't dial the percentage up by percentage. Each step is a big jump if you really want to dial in your ppfd compared to your VPD or your growing environment. But overall, these seedlings are doing pretty good. These are on day 4. These are a Bee Leaf by Seed Junkie collab, and they are permanent chimera. As you can see, the crosses right there. We'll see how those turn out over the next few weeks to months. I'm sure they'll fill out this space completely. Before we end out this video, I want to talk about the power, because a lot of people talk about running grow tents all like this in one room and how the power supply affects the space. So in Thailand, all the power here is 220 volt, which makes the amp usage on all this equipment like almost half. So in this space, it's run off a 30 amp breaker, plus the AC system is on its own power breaker also. So we are well within our area of being safe. In Canada, being I think 120 volt systems, the amps are a lot higher on this. So previously, when I did have 4 grow tents in one entire space, I ran an extension cord from one of the tents to another circuit, which was located in another room, and then like a second tent with an extension cord going to another circuit. So we split the 4 grow tents up on 3 different circuits to be safe. I know this video is kind of all over the place. I'm still getting used to talking to the camera directly and this new format of video. As we go along, I'm sure they'll get a lot smoother and we will show a lot more content per video. Just be patient with me as I'm still learning about a new format on the videos and a new space. We will be checking out the commercial larger rooms very shortly, so I'm excited to show you guys that. Until next time, happy growing everyone, and remember to get out there and make it happen.